Yes, we are. We are live, and it is day 3 of our putting. Well, it's lesson 3, and we're talking about putting today. So John, I opened up there with my feelings about putting. Is that really anyone can be a good putter, but not everyone can be a brilliant driver or perhaps a fantastic, long iron player. What I'm saying is that on the putting green, it's the great equaliser, isn't it? Because of physical form and so forth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. I would argue that everybody can be a reasonable driver, and everybody can be better than they are and as good as they can be. That's a simple fact. But the thing with putting that the problem, one of the problems is that we are attached more to the target, aren't we? And the result takes over from the process. And we get hooked up on holding it, but then as we miss one, we get hooked up on not missing it. So our mindset changes, and we feel we're going to look a plonker if we miss a putt from 3 feet. Everybody does it. Before the sound was when the sound was off, I mentioned that most the pros on tour miss putts from 6 feet around about 50% of the time, and yet we feel that they hold them all the time. Just not the case. Everybody misses putts. Now, I don't know if you remember, but I remember Hale Irwin missing a putt from a quarter of an inch.
1983.
Was it? Yeah,
Royal Birkdale British Open.
He went to brush it in and missed it, and he called it on himself. Do you remember that?
Oh,
so everybody misses
absolutely.
putts. Garcia missed putts, didn't he? He missed a putt from this far, Garcia, the other day. So, we're not entitled to hold every putt. And people say to me, well, I didn't make a putt. And I would argue you made every single putt. You didn't hold them, but you made every single putt. So there's a difference between making a putt and holding a putt. So we shouldn't get hooked up on holding putts. The idea really is to get yourself into the right state, the right process, and to be in the shot a little bit longer than we are. So with that in mind, let me just explain a couple of things in terms of setup to start. The first thing that I think about setup, and again, this is only my share or my take on where the ball position should be, etc. So typically on putting, what we've tended to have is the ball forward in the stance and off the left heel and shoulders like this. Now, the putter is the shortest club in the bag. So if I take this club and this club, you can see, look, there's a longer iron, and the difference is quite profound. So I'm saying that the low point in the putt is nearer, or the putting stroke is nearer the middle of the stance. So put the ball slightly in front of the middle of the stance, comfortable distance, and have your eyes over the heel of the putter, not the ball. So it doesn't create a stress in your back, and you have no tension there. Let your hands hang freely and have your shoulders level, not tilted. So shoulders level, ball slightly in front of stance. You're going to be literally putting yourself back like this, and there's your position to ball to target. There it is, nice and comfortable. Eyes over the heel of the putter, not the ball. So that's my first recommendation to people to try, and then you can deliver the club through the ball to target. And remember, yesterday we talked about the club face being square to target. Well, that's absolutely massively important, isn't it, with a putter? The second thing I would say is about grip. I'm saying there's no right or wrong grip. The issue about the grip is tension. And all you want to be doing is holding this handle so that you've just got enough of it so it stops somebody pulling it away from you, and it's not so tense. So just keep it nice and relaxed, but firm enough so that somebody couldn't pull it away from you. Now, when we come to actual putting itself, Jed, the issue primarily is pace. It's not line, it's pace. And the reason that I say that is we've probably all been in a situation where you've hit a ball, or you've seen somebody hit a putt and it's gone 4 or 5 feet past, and somebody in the playing partner said, you gave it a chance. Well, I'm saying you gave it no chance at all, because at that pace it isn't going to go in the hole. The faster we hit the putt, the narrower the hole becomes. It has to hit center all of the time. Now, if we get the pace right, what happens is that I'll come closer to the camera, I'm a long way away today. If I take 3 golf balls, I hope you can see that. If I get the pace right and I get the roll right, if I'm 15 feet away, 20 feet away, and I get the pace right, every one of those golf balls will go in the hole. If I aim 50 foot left, it's not going to do that. But if I get the line reasonably right and the pace right, all three will go in, because the pace on the one on the low side will grab enough of the hole and drop in. The same on the top, and the one in the middle obviously goes in. So pace is key. So a couple of things on pace. When you go to the golf course, or you're on the putting green, and you're having a putt before the comp starts or your game starts, what I would suggest you do is you're there to find the pace of the greens. Now, we're lucky at Rowney because the practice green really does replicate pretty much the greens on the golf course, which isn't always the case. So that's fantastic. What you do is you pick a spot, you hit a golf ball, you hit the pace, you watch it go, where it goes, and you watch where it lines and it falls. And then you get the next one, and you send it to rest on the first ball you've hit. Pace. So finding the pace is absolutely key. Now, the next thing I would say as well is most people leave a putt short. We don't 3-putt, do we? Generally, if we're 5 foot left or 4 foot left or 4 foot right, it's 3 or 4 foot short or 3 or 4 foot past the hole. So one of the things you can do to get that, first and foremost, is you can put the hole in the middle of a bigger target. Because most people, as Fred Schumich says, are afraid of going past the hole because it's like going into the unknown. And we leave putts short, don't we? So put the flag in the middle of a bigger hole, certainly from distance, and leave it in that. Obviously, you want to hold it, but leave it in that circle, and don't mind if it goes past the hole. If a ball goes past the hole, pay particular attention to what's happening after the hole, so you can see the line on the way back. So putting it in a bigger hole or a bigger target in the middle helps you. Now, the other thing I would say you need to do, which is a very interesting one to do, is if I want to practice understanding my length of the putt, what I would do is I'd have a ball here. I hope you can see that. I've got my hole over here, and that's about 15, 20 feet, something of that sort. What I will do is I will set up as I want to set up, my shoulders square, etc., and the ball in the middle here, and I would absorb myself in the putt, see the line, see the ball going, let my body and my mind work together to sense how far that putt's got to go. Then I'll turn the putter over as a walking stick, close my eyes, and wander to the hole and without looking, put the putter down and see how far I am. And I'll bet you most people are short. It's a great way of finding and understanding that putting some reality to the distance. Most people are short. So that's a great way of finding out how much distance you've really got compared to what you perceive while you're over the ball. Another way of getting more understanding of distance, obviously you don't do that on the golf course in the comp, this is on the practice green. Another way of getting an understanding and appreciation of distance of a putt, and we all look at it from behind the hole, from behind the ball, etc. The key place to get true evaluation of distance is to go on the low side of the putt and at midpoint and see the distance. Just try it on the practice green at Rowney. You'll be amazed. It generally looks 20% longer from that point than above the hole. So start making a better assessment of the distance. So when we get to the actual
just hang on a minute there, John. Can you just explain that again? That 20% mirage that's been outfoxing us for years by the looks of things.
Right. Well, we all go behind the hole. That's great. We go behind the ball. All of this sort of stuff. But when you are in that position, what tends to happen with the hole there is it tends to bring it in like that, and it tends to change your perspective on the distance. If you go above the hole at midpoint and looking down on the slope, it tends to shorten the distance. If you go to a midpoint on the low side of the hole, you see, so if I'm here and I'm on the low side, there's my length of putt, it's 15 feet that way, and I'm on the low side, I will get a much, much better perception of the reality of the distance of that putt from the low point, midpoint of the putt. Massively changes, absolutely massively changes how far, and you'll see the slopes more and etc. So just try it. You'd be amazed at how different that is.
That is a biggie, isn't it? Because it's really just
Massive.
Perception and depth of field. It's almost an optical obstacle, isn't it? I mean, just by walking around and
the ground changes. The way we look at things changes. And it's almost like a tunnel on a railway track when we do that.
Yeah.
So it brings us in there. It doesn't give us a true perspective. So go on the low side of the hole, halfway
but
up,
John,
down.
Isn't it true that the closer that you get to the hole and the more money's at stake, the hole gets smaller? Isn't it? Does that happen?
Well, actually, we all know it doesn't get smaller, does it? But yeah, it does. I mean, the thing is, we become obsessed with not missing, and all you can do. Look, it's a fact that they have machines that on artificial putting surfaces or whatever. They put the machine down, they put a ball in the machine, and the ball, and they go for the 4 feet. Even though they put the ball in the same place with the same machine with the same putter, they don't hold every putt. You are going to miss putts. And the idea here is to make sure that you're not worried about missing putts. The idea is to put yourself into a state of mind where you are in the shot and you see the shot and you see the shape and you see the ball going in and you see your hand picking the ball out of the hole and you go to it and you let yourself flow in the putt. Now, this is how I think people should be looking to putt. Now, the first thing is you never, ever, ever take a line on the putt unless the ball is on the ground. No point just having the marker there and walking around it. Put the ball down, assess the putt, and while somebody's putting over here, you can still be looking at it, get to your half point, come back to the ball. What I would do, remember that as well, every single putt anybody ever makes is straight. Any putt anybody makes is straight. You never, ever hit anything but a straight putt. So the idea here is if it's a slope left to right or right to, the idea is to pick a point where it starts to break. So it's straight to that point and away it breaks, okay? I mean, I do like other people don't, I do like lines on the ball and you put the ball to target, you get your line in, there it is. So what I'm looking to do from this point now is I'm looking to be alongside this ball and I'm looking at the target. And as I'm looking at the target, I'm allowing myself to change the pace of the putt of my swing. And remember, it's just a calm, easy, same back, same through. And I'm going to deliver it to my point. When I get that ball there, I see it rolling in, I see it tumbling into the hole. I go back to the ball. I settle. I reconnect to the target and I go. I don't hesitate, have a thought over there and a conversation with myself there. I don't let anything interfere there. And I must go. Now, there's another thing here that I think is quite fascinating. I don't know if people have done this. Certainly some people who've been on my with my lessons and my academies have done it. If you take a golf ball and you put it on the ground, and you've got a pattern carpet, or you can do it on a carpet, but not a pattern carpet, plain carpet, certainly do it at the golf course. If you focus on that ball, and you really look at that ball, and you see through the ball, and you look at it on the ground, and you stay there for a few minutes, few seconds, and focus and concentrate on that ball, and then you move the ball, you will see where that ball has been. It's a post-optical illusion. But it's there. It's always there, and it's been in there every single shot you've ever played. So I would urge people to putt with thinking that they're going to make sure that they see that spot that ball leaves, and not chase the ball into the target. So when we get to holing out, got to remember that when you hole out, the closer you get to the hole, the more the break affects it, unless you hit it hard. See, I don't know if people have seen aim point, where you see these people with the fingers, and they do this and they do that. Well, that's That's a scientific approach which is proven to work, where for every 1 degree of slope, there's 1 finger, based on your dominant eye, all of that. So the interesting thing for me that I found with that when I did that particular course was that when you get to about 4 feet from the hole, instead of aiming using your fingers from the center of the hole, you use it from the outside of the hole, right to left, so there's more break on the slower putt. So you're not thumping it and then going away. All right. So when you get close to the hole, just be a little bit more conscious of the fact that the pace of the ball is going to be a bit slower, and see it rolling in, see it going in at the side of the hole you want it to go. And if it's straight, go in there and hit it. But don't dwell on it too much. Don't worry about missing it. Get to the ball, set yourself up, let it go, looking for that spot there. And if it goes in, you know what? That's great. But don't be afraid of missing them. That's my point. Don't be afraid of missing them. People miss them all the time. And if you get hung up on the result, this is the key with putting, isn't it? We get hung up on the result. Now, clearly, that putt there is the same as a 300-yard drive. Of course it is. But we don't hit every 300 drive right, and or 200-yard drive right. We don't hit every putt right. Move on. Don't hang on to it. Let it go. You know, everybody's capable of 2 putts per hole at a minimum. Right, everybody. You don't have to 3-putt. Just get it around that bigger target, stay in the shot a little bit more, and feel yourself relaxing into it and letting yourself trust what you see and what you feel and let it go to target. Okay? Now, one other thing, it's a natural stroke. People say, is it straight back and straight through? Is it on an arc? Have you heard that one, Jed? Is it this way? Is it this way? It's a bit of both. It's back and in, back and out, back and in, back and in. That's what it is. And tempo of putt is absolutely crucial. Keep the putter moving without any change in the flow. Just let it go as a pendulum. Keep your body out of the swing. Let's have it there nice and rigid. You don't have to use your knees and your hips. Just literally let the shoulders rock and send it through the ball in an even, smooth tempo. And if you want more distance, lengthen the putt. Lengthen the swing. Does that make sense to you?
Well, that's fantastic, John. I love to rewind this and watch it again. There's so much to take in. Just thinking about those that are quite new to the game. And we play with the academy members and those that haven't been on the golf course for that long. It's almost like, is there a strategy that when they're on the green, or when anyone's on the green really, is to survey the landscape and kind of predict where the putt is going to go, in that you want to leave yourself the easiest second putt possible. Okay, so no one wants to knock their second putt in topside, downhill, or left to right. Is there kind of some good advice there that, you know, golfers should be going, look, I don't mind having a 5-foot uphill putt as opposed to a 2-foot downhill putt?
A 5-foot uphill putt is about 4 foot too long, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Look, you clearly, what happens after the hole is important. So quite often we don't pay enough attention to that, and there is a fear of going beyond the hole. Leaving the ball in a better place. After a putt, an uphill putt is obviously better than the downhill putt, of course. So
if we can just say, we can talk about the fourth case in point, isn't it? The fourth,
yeah.
So a very slopey, tricky green, and the downhill putt can really catch you out. So it's almost, for your pitch shot, you're better off just saying, look, I'm just going to go to the back of the green and leave that uphill putt and be safe.
Yeah, I would say though, Jed, that particularly for people who are new to the game, I would say middle of the green is never a bad place. Middle of the green is never a bad place, and then learn from the opportunity that the putt gives you. I will. One thing I meant to say earlier on, and I forgot. This is the other key, the key exercise for anybody, and this is the one. What you do is you You don't have to have a hole. You can have one of those plastic tea pegs. You can have a coin on the ground. You can do this on your lounge carpet, your bedroom carpet, on the putt. What you do is you put your target down, and I would say 12, 15 feet is good. Maybe more if you want, but what you do is you take your first ball, you put your process down, you have your line. You take this, you do exactly what we just said and feel what it takes to send that ball there. You get part of this, you get engrossed in the process, you're connected to your target. You go to the ball, you reset to your target, and then you close your eyes and you putt with your eyes closed. And as the ball, you don't look at the ball, you sense where the ball's gone, you don't open your eyes, and you ask yourself, is that putt short or long? If it's short, you feel it's short, you say to yourself, well, it's 3 feet short, it's 6 inches short, or whatever long. Is it left or right? How far? You haven't opened your eyes yet. And then you take a look. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed how quickly you can get a real sense and attachment to how that ball is reacting off the putter face and where it's going. Now, if you can do that with your eyes closed, my question is, why can't you get that while your eyes are open? And the answer is because you get in your own way and you don't let go. So you've seen what's it? Spieth was putting with looking at the hole. That's another technique. And what it does when your eyes are closed, and just sense as well when your eyes are closed, how free your movement is through the ball. How much more aware you are of the rhythm, of the tempo, of the release, of the contact with your eyes closed, because you're just simply not questioning anything. You're literally not having that conversation. So learning through putting with your eyes closed is absolutely fantastic. Now, you might think this is bizarre, but as we're in this lockdown period and when you're playing, why don't you try and putt just go on the greens when you're playing, putt with your eyes closed, and see how many more putts you hold from 6 feet with your eyes closed than with your eyes open. Absolutely staggering that with your eyes closed, generally speaking, people become better putters.
Cool, blimey. That's not something I've ever tried. I'll be giving that a go today, John. Wow. Because we did see Jordan Spieth, didn't we? He was exercising that in the past.
He looked at the hole, didn't he? And he putted with his looking at the hole. It's it's NLP stuff. And looked at the hole, putted away. How many did he hold? Looking at the hole? Amazing. So the first part of that exercise is with your eyes closed completely. And I would urge people, while they're on the golf course and they're playing on their own, whatever, it's social golf, just try it. Just feel the difference in your stroke with your eyes closed. It's an amazing thing. And if you're struggling from 4 feet, 5 feet, 3 feet, set yourself up, commit to your target, go to the ball. There it is. Go back there, close your eyes, and putt it. Don't open your eyes. If you don't hear the ball drop, ask yourself, have I missed that left? Have I missed it right? You will know. Amazing. This is how you know that, and you haven't even watched it. So putting with your eyes closed, fantastic way to develop your stroke, to feel how much more in flow you are, and away you go. Now, the final thing I would say in terms of improving everybody's putting, everybody's, Jen, I know you're not expecting this, you're not, is to get one of those. Right?
Yeah.
It's about time. All I would urge everybody, for everybody's putting sake, is when you go on the green, repair your pitch mark. And what's that, Jen?
I've got a whole box of them here.
Oh, right.
About 200 of them.
Right. We should all be committed as Rowney Club members, because the greens are fantastic. We should all be committed in lockdown to repairing our own and at least one other pitch mark on the green. And within a couple of weeks, we wouldn't have any. It's the scourge of the greenkeeper. It's the scourge of golf. It really damages the green. Guys, just be respectful to the efforts that people put in and get these pitch marks repaired is my final bit of advice, okay? Yeah, I know we didn't discuss that, did we? You weren't expecting that. So,
well, we're
so
the advice too.
Look, it's difficult in putting, Jed. There's a lot to do, but I hope that gives people a flavour of things that they can find. And look, if you don't learn to love putting, then you're not going to enjoy golf, because putting's 40-50%. Right, but it's the one. If you can reduce the number of 3 putts from 6 around to 4 around to 2 around to none around, fantastic, isn't it? So it will help you score, but you'll be far, far, far more relaxed on the golf course. You know, one of the things that you do is you take that missed putt to the next hole. It's just an incredible thing that gets in our heads. Let it go. Don't expect to hold all of them. Accept the result. It's not about the result. It's about the process. The ball will go in more often if the pace is right. Okay.
I just got a question come in.
Yeah.
Didn't Garcia do it for a while? So I think that was maybe looking away from the ball. Maybe I'm not sure on that, but
yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Probably.
I mean, it's not something that we see too often on tour, is it? Generally, the players are.
No, they don't have to. No. And I'm not suggesting that you have to do this when you're in competition. All I'm saying is that I will almost guarantee that they all do it when they're practicing. I guarantee that when they're working on the putting, they will do this. Absolute guarantee that they will find a way that they sense and feel more in their putts, that they're belonging more to it, and they shut their eyes. You shut your eyes when you. A great way of learning your golf swing and feeling more in your golf swing is to close your eyes on rehearsal swing. The difference here is you can't really hit the golf ball when you've got with a 7-iron with your eyes closed, but you can with a putt. You can with a putt, so you take it to another stage. When I've shared this with, I think probably with you and others that are in this little group that we do. When I was with Carl Morris, it was on a Sunday night. And he was GMAC had just won the big one after a long time, and Carl was telling me that GMAC's caddy had got in touch with him and said, "Look, get a hold of his putting. You know, something not right." And everybody was talking about his technique and whatever. And what in that conversation he had with GMAC, Carl asked him. He was telling me that what was it you used to do when you felt you couldn't miss a putt? And he said, "Well, what I used to do, and this is I think an interesting thing." Is I used to do all the process we've talked about. I used to go to the ball and I used to exhale fully. And when the last breath went, I went. And apparently GMAC said, "You're going to ask me to tell me to do that again." And Carl said, "I'm not going to tell you to do anything, but would suggest to you." So anyway, he worked on that. And on that competition over in the Middle East there, on that competition on the Saturday, he had 14 single putts on the bounce.
Oh, blimey.
And as he was going up the 15th, his caddy said, "Do you realise, Graham, you've had 14 single putts."
Oh.
He didn't have another single putt after he was notified of that.
It's like the kiss of death, that, isn't it? Anyway.
And, well, it's the way that it is. He actually had 20 putts in that round.
So
20 putts.
A lot of it, putting is a state of mind as well, isn't it? It's that confidence, isn't it? Because sometimes even you can be on the green and you might be 20, 30 feet away, but there's just something inside you that says, "You know what, I'm going to sink this."
Well, look, our objective obviously is to sink it, and this gets me with the commentators that we hear. You heard it at Sawgrass. It's just the most ridiculous thing. They turn around and say, "This is a makeable putt." Every putt's makeable. Every putt is makeable, all right? And every putt is missable. The key issue with the putting is to be in the process for longer, for more, to be connected more to the target, and to trust your body, not to panic at the ball. Let it go and learn from it. If you knock it 5 foot past, right, you know what? It's not the greatest putt in the world, but you can learn from it. You can say, well, what was it then? And it's never a hit at the ball, is it? It's just a release of the club through the ball and just using your shoulders and this pendulum action here, and nice and relaxed and easy. And it should feel great. It should feel great.
I must admit, I think confidence, not just on putting. I think if everyone could just get into that state of mind, whereas I'm going to sink this, I can do this. It might be like 20 foot, it might be downhill left to right, but you know what? I'm on a golf course. I'm enjoying myself. The feeling that you get when that ball drops in the hole, it is fantastic, and that euphoria.
Yes, it is. Now, I would change my language in that. What I would say is, I would look at the putt. I would say, oh, this is an opportunity, and you know what? I do embrace difficult putts. With the swings, the one on the 50, what you get anything. Now you look at it and you think, wow, now this is the challenge, isn't it? Left to right, coming in. How? Now my question to myself would be, what does it take from here? What is it I've got to do from here? What's important from here? Not I can hold this. What I would say, right, let's take a look at this and break this down. Yeah, that's my line there. It almost becomes a conversation about what it is you have to do. So I have to be straight there, and I have to send it. It's high as that. Yeah, okay, and it's going to drop in, and you see it. It's more visual, isn't it? It's more visual. That's the key. Being part of it and seeing it. But the other thing is that you see yourself with your hand going in the hole, picking the ball out. You see the ball going into on the side of the hole at the pace that you want. You watch it going in. And as you're seeing it, you're looking at your target and you're allowing yourself to work with the target and to sense it and to calm yourself down and to be in it. And then you go to it. And then you go. I tell people two stories. I'll try and keep them quick because I'm conscious we keep going over time. So I played some years ago. I played at Castletown. I played absolutely, I would probably say, the best ball striking I can ever remember. I didn't have a putt over 15 feet for a birdie or an eagle over 15 feet, and I didn't make one of them. And I hit 17 greens in regulation. I came off the golf course 200 gross, and the first thing my playing partner said was, "If only you could putt." Now, I absolutely, I felt every putt. I just slipped out. I just felt it was great. I didn't feel alienated from the putt. I just didn't hold a putt. And yet, I played some years earlier with a friend of mine, and we got to the 18th, and he said to me, "John, if you make a par on the 18th," he said, "it's a 64 gross." And as soon as he said it, I heeled my drive. I hit a 9 or 8 iron in for the second instead of a wedge. I left it to the right in a bunker, played a great bunker shot, and missed a 4-foot putt downhill for a 64. Ended up with a 65. He said it was the greatest golf he'd ever seen. I went home. I thought, I've hit 6 greens in regulation here. I hold 2-3 putts over 50 feet. Didn't miss anything from 15 feet. Right? Didn't hit it. I remember the Castletown experience far more than holding those 50-foot putts, because my game was so. The key is feeling that you're part of the whole process, not the result. You're not defined by your result. Missing a putt doesn't make you a worse player. You don't become a bad player because you miss a few putts. You don't become a bad putter because you miss a few putts. You don't hold as many putts because you get in your own way. You start getting hooked up on what it looks like, what you look like, what you're going to feel like, the idiot you're going to be because you missed the putt. Let it go. Let it go.
I think Rowney is a fascinating place for putting, especially on those closing holes. The back nine gives you so many challenges, and you know
How boring would it be if we went onto a golf course and every green was absolutely flat and the same? How boring would it be? There wouldn't be any much fun in that, would there?
Well, you're asked the question on 15. You know, we identified that, and I think many of us have been in that position. And let's face it, when we're playing in competition, You can put it on 15, and you think, "Oh my word, what have I done?" And you kind of write in the script before you even got on the putting surface, you know. So let's think about that. Look at it as an opportunity to excel and explore and enjoy.
Oh, fantastic!
You know, let's think about that.
Look, of course, you want to be down, but you want to be sure. Where have I got to be here? Now I know I've got to be further left than I thought. And if I can see that ball dropping off and coming down and gathering pace, what a great putt it's going to be. And get into it. But your target then isn't the hole, is it? Your target is the point over here where the ball starts to break to the right. Where is the straight putt here? And as it drops off and away you go. I mean, isn't it great on the practice screen that you've got that hole by the clubhouse right down there, and you knock it up on the right and see it drop into the hole. It's fantastic.
Exactly, and it prepares you.
That's what it's about.
It prepares you for the
there you go.
game.
So pace. Absolutely key to golf to putting is control of distance. Control of distance. Don't be afraid of going past the hole. Most people are rather than long. You can go in and on the practice green, look at your putt, sense your putt. Close your eyes, turn around, walk up, keep your eyes closed, drop it in there somewhere, see where you are, so you're getting a sense of the feeling. Look from the low side of the hole to get true distance awareness, and hit the ball straight. Use your eyes closed. All of those things, and you will become a better putter. Okay.
Okay. Well, that is excellent. So basically, the message is listen to what John has said today. Try a few new things out whilst in lockdown, because let's face it, you're on the greens on your own. You've got time to experiment and try these things out.
Jed, close your eyes and putt, and just sense: am I short? Am I long? Is it left or right? And just be aware. Now, you'll be amazed how you know that. It's incredible. How do you know it and you haven't seen it? So trust yourself a little bit more.
It's great. Now, tomorrow, John, we are going to be doing chipping, the great score changer. So I'm looking forward to that one, because chipping, I'll confess, chipping has been a bit of a demon. I used to be fairly good. I could get up and down from anywhere, I thought, but this last year or two, I've struggled a bit. So hopefully the solution will be tomorrow from 8:30 on Rowney TV. Forget Piers Morgan. We've got John Tinsley. And we'll bid you farewell. We'll see you tomorrow, fella.
All right, mate. Take care. Cheers, everybody. Thank you now.